We are getting new hints about Amazon's new project. In a job posting, the company says that it's looking for a manager for its new virtual reality team.
VR technology has received a lot of attention this year, but the emphasis has mostly been on video games. So the question is, could we soon start seeing virtual reality in movies or TV? CNET senior editor Jeff Bakalar is here with us to break this all down.
Yes.
So, do you see non-gamers getting into VC?
I actually, VR.
VR, what did I say? VC?
Venture capital.
We've been talking about video cassette recorders all day, all morning long.
A lot of VC money in these products, for sure. Yeah, VR, I think VR is going to take off in non-gaming sections to start. I think that's the most attractive element of them. A lot of the games I've played, they're okay. They're not great. We're getting there.
Yeah.
This is all in its infancy right now. But I think the most exciting aspect of VR is imagine, sort of like touring real estate, touring, this sort of virtual vacationing idea. I know, as lame as it sounds to like have a headset on and be like, oh, I'm at the beach now. This is great. What's way better is like walking through an apartment you want to buy on the other side of the country. To me, something like that sounds pretty fantastic. So I think there's going to be way more applications outside the world of gaming to start. But the game stuff is coming too. That's sort of how it's being pushed, especially for two products, the HTC Vive and Oculus Rift.
This seems like the kind of technology that could be paired with streaming services pretty well. What's going on? Is there anything going on in that area?
Yeah, so I believe Netflix is going to have out-of-the-box support for Oculus, but that's just having like a movie screen attached to your face.
Okay.
There's not going to be like I'm walking through Orange is the New Black. It's just like, oh, Orange is the New Black is right in front of me, and I can have this private sort of screening theater experience. So that's how it's going to sort of roll out first. It's really tough to tell what Amazon's sort of saying by having this job listing. I think everybody wants to explore this space. I think everybody is skeptical, especially about initial adoption rate, which is justifiably so. These things are super expensive. They're really not for anybody right now. We're sort of beginning to review a few of these, first ones that come out. And it's going to be dicey to start, to say the least.
Why then, if you look at these devices that we're showing them on the screen, these VR devices, why wasn't Google Glass a success? That wasn't VR, but it was something that you wear on your face, wearable technology.
That was AR, augmented reality.
Augmented reality.
Right, so it's essentially you can see the real world, but just have some sort of overlay, graphical overlay, in between the real world and your eyes. Google Glass didn't really take off. I think we've talked about this before. I think because it was super goofy,
as opposed to this.
Right, but again, like this, you can do in the privacy of your own home. The point of Google Glass is to like expose yourself to the world, and the world was like, nah, we don't need that. You look crazy.
Yeah.
So Google Glass is great for like expos and like Google I/O out in San Francisco, where the 500 people that bought that thing congregate in a hall together and just stare at each other for an hour and a half. So that's cool. But yeah, I think it was goofy. It was too much money. Not a lot of third-party support. No one's really making Google Glass apps.
Yeah.
But the tech was impressive and had a lot of promise. But I think there's a whole sort of storm of reasons why that didn't take off.
But keeping that in mind, I mean, this looks a little goofy. This is super expensive. The software is just getting up to speed. So, I mean, is this here to stay, or could this go the way of Google Glass?
So I think it's tough. I don't know how VR is going to be received at first. I think it might have a similar fate to 3D TV. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that? Where's that?
That
was gone. That was here for a hot second. That was a very isolating experience because you would basically have people gathering around the TV on the couch and then, okay, now put on these sunglasses and we're just going to watch TV. That was a weird experience. For this, it's much more, sort of isolated. So I don't think you're going to have that kind of weird barrier to entry, but, it's going to get way better. And that's what I keep thinking in the back of my head is like, I know this is going to get so much better. I think the resolution needs to be better for people to really take it seriously. Right now, there's this weird screen door effect. So you ever like put your face up to a window screen, you can sort of see the grid. That's kind of what's happening with some VR right now. But I mean, think about 5-10 years from now when they start to become really seamless, when they're just like a pair of Oakleys and you put them on, and maybe we get to the point where it's projecting images onto your retina. That is when it's really going to start to be cool. Right now, it's sort of like a porthole, like being John Malkovich. You could see the black around. So you're kind of looking through this portal, where it's a good analogy, right? Where
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Right? If you've seen it, you're like, I know exactly what you mean.
I want to see that movie again. Actually, that was a great movie.
So until we get to the point where it's taken over your entire peripheral, and you don't know where your vision ends and that begins, that's when it's really going to kick off. And I think that's maybe 5-10 years from now.
Here's a question. Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Oh, God.
It's a question for the ages.
It is a question.
You should ask Harrison Ford about that and see.
I'm going to cut you guys off before it goes all the way over here.
It's a deep rabbit hole.
CNET senior editor Jeff Bakalar, thank you so much.
Of course.